Get that going. Recording is happening. We're live. Whew. Hello. So, I am Daniela Martinez Guzman, and I created this page on holistic womb art, and I called it that because that's exactly what it's about. It is an array of holistic services to support individuals and their womb wellness. Okay? And when I say womb, it is not necessarily just when there's a baby in the uterus. That's what people tend to think. That's certainly part of what I love to do. However, when I say womb, I really mean in the most general sense. Okay, the womb is there regardless of whether you have a baby there or ever will, really. So yes, all these various ways for you to heal and connect with your human. That's what I love to do. Pretty much my life's purpose right there. Okay. um, so that's me. Okay. I'm a full spectrum doula. I do birth work as a student midwife. Um, I I love teaching yoga, prenatal yoga. Okay, all these things to support women's wellness. Okay, and some female well-being and yoni health. Right. Um, So I'll share with you a little aha moment that I had in my life that was very pivotal in this line of work. I was apprenticing with a retired midwife in Oregon. She Stephanie Singing Tree, and I was with her learning about herbalism. Okay, we would grow the herbs in her yard and learn how to grow them. How did they, what kind of environment they needed, etc. And then we would harvest and we would prepare the herbs and prepare the medicine and then sell it at the market. So it's this full circle, and we spend a lot of time with her. And well, that sparked the woman's wellness journey because as a retired midwife, she would share a lot of stories. And as I started diving into birth work, I found it amazing how much people pay attention to the health of their uterus and their yoni when they're pregnant. It's amazing. I love it so much. It's so much fun to do. And to see people engage with the health of their yoni that much. My aha moment was realizing that we have a yoni all the time. And I thought, what if we took care of our yoni all the time and thought about it that much? Okay, as much as we tend to do during pregnancy. So I kept leaning into that, and it has taken me down this journey of many holistic womb arts. Okay, and a big part of it is Yoni Steaming. Okay, that's what we're here to do today, dive into the basics of Yoni Steaming, because I came across it and it blew my mind. Okay, it blew my mind. That's my big aha moment, and that's what I'm here to do, to help people take care of the yoni at all points of their lives. Okay, not only when you're trying to get pregnant or are pregnant, all the time. Okay. So what is yoni steaming? It's also known as vaginal steaming or womb steaming or pelvic steaming. Some are calling it peri-steam hydrotherapy. There are many names for it in various languages, of course, and various indigenous languages, which I do not know. One of them is Bahus, which is the ancient Mayan word for it. Okay, so very prevalent practice throughout many Mexican traditions, and that will segue into, where does it come from? So it's fascinating, guys. Individuals, women all around the world historically figured out that steaming supports the health of the yoni. Okay? You can trace yoni steaming back to so many communities and countries and cultures historically and still contemporarily. So I'll list just a few of them. South Korea is a cool one, actually, because it's been practiced there historically. And also has been practiced or is being practiced there right now. Okay, it's still a very prevalent part of their lives. So that's a place where the practice didn't really die out, although it has throughout most places. So like South Korea, you can go and there's spas there where you can go steam yourself. It's common, popular, everyone knows about it. So there's root, or you can trace it back to Indonesia and Japan, Malaysia, Cambodia, and China. And you hop over to Europe, Italy, Germany, Sweden, Latvia, Romania, and then you go down to Africa and you can find it in nearly every cardinal direction of it, north, east, south, west communities throughout Africa. Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, I mentioned Mexico, Panama. Okay, I have found actually here in Hawaii some indications or records that it was practiced here. However, if you live here, it's not very prevalent. However, there's recordings that, it was being practiced. It's very fragmented knowledge at this point. What herbs are these and how are they doing it? They don't really know, but, I found some records here. Also in Palau, Papua New Guinea. Mesopotamia, that goes far, back really far back. So that's just a general idea. What I'm trying to get at here is that Yoni steaming was practiced throughout the world, in many continents. It's not just, only this community was practicing. It's like, no, so many communities were, okay? Why is it not being practiced as much anymore? Well, that's a multifaceted answer, but what we do know is that women's knowledge and indigenous people's knowledge, we've seen this pattern throughout history. Those two sources of knowledge are not often respected or valued, okay, right? These are two groups of people that are often put down. So as far as indigenous people around the world, we know that, sorry, putting up the volume here on my thing. So yes, as far as indigenous people around the world, we know that colonialism would come in, settlers would come in, and often look down upon indigenous communities, right? They wouldn't come in thinking, oh, we've got so much to learn from these people. Let's see what they know. No, they'd often come in and look down upon these native people around the world as individuals who were, less civilized, primal, animalistic, people that needed to be educated and brought up to the level of these settlers. So they wouldn't go in learning about their wisdom, right? So that's one way that knowledge was put down, that was steaming, herbalism, just traditional ways of practicing anything in life. We know that indigenous practices were sometimes even banned. It's illegal to worship certain gods and speak certain languages, to try to literally suppress the native everything, the native religions and ways of life. And steaming in many communities was a part of it, and that was also put down. So we also have so much women's wisdom being put down. The burning of witches. The witches were often known to be the midwives of the community, or the herbalists, the ones that had knowledge on healing and women's sexuality and sensuality, and that is who was often burned, and with them that knowledge. And then there's also obstetrics. That's a really interesting one because, at the roots of obstetrics, we have, I don't remember his name, I think it's Joseph something. maybe block his name out of my mind, but you can look him up. The grandfather of obstetrics, the way that the obstetric knowledge began was this individual, Joseph. He had slaves that he would practice on. Okay, these were obviously not voluntary. He didn't ask for permission. They didn't have an option. He cut open these people in order to develop the surgical techniques of obstetrics. And he did not use anesthesia on these individuals. Okay, so those are the roots. Okay, because he was using these African slaves. There was this belief that, you know, these less developed animalistic African slaves had a higher pain tolerance, and I'm sure he also didn't have much sympathy for them as humans because they looked down upon them. So the roots of the obstetrics is unfortunately very torturous, and it's dark, it's gross, it's terrible, it's heartbreaking, and that's sadistic, cutting up these people. So anyways, those are the roots of it. And I mentioned that because the prevailing way that most people think of taking care of their vagina nowadays is by going to the obstetricians and gynecologists. Now, I'm generalizing, of course, not all obstetricians. I know that there are obstetricians and gynecologists out there that are so sympathetic and kind and loving. Is that the majority of them? In my perspective, in my experience, no. But they are out there, okay? At the end of the day, what they have to offer in terms of vaginal health is limited to their perspective. So that's my long rant on why Yoni Steaming isn't being practiced as much. Okay, at the roots of obstetrics, we also have the slandering of midwives, the putting down of the wise elders and wise women. Okay, you know, step aside, here comes the rational men. You know, those are the roots of it. And that's why a lot of the knowledge by women and indigenous people has been diminished. Okay, that's why Yoni Steaming, which was so prevalent around the entire world, now all of a sudden very few people know about it. So that's why we're here, to figure out what our ancestors had already figured out, that herbal steam supports the well-being of the yoni. Let's backtrack a little bit to yoni and what that means. So yoni is a Sanskrit word that refers to the pelvic area, the female pelvic area. And it is all encompassing of the physical, from the vulva and the clitoris and the vaginal lips to internally the cervix and the uterus and fallopian tubes and the vaginal wall and the pelvic bones. So encompassing with the physical and also with the energetics of this space. So that's why I love using the term yoni. Also, that in contrast to the word vagina for vaginal steaming, which has roots, Latin roots, and it means heat. Okay, so it's used as an anatomical term. It means sheath, and I have beef with the fact that that's what it means, because they named this beautiful part of our body the sheath, as in it has the capacity to hold something such as a penis. So that bothers me. However, sometimes I do call it vaginal steaming, because the truth is most people know that word and they don't know yoni. So I will say vaginal steaming often to get my point across. Even though vaginal is a little misleading, because the steaming affects the entire pelvic area, not just the vaginal canal, right? Although some people, when they think of vagina, they do think of the entire female pelvic area. So it tends to work. Okay, I'm just breaking down the nitty gritty here. Vaginal steaming is yoni steaming, same, different term. Okay, so you'll hear me interchange between those two throughout our class time, as well as maybe pelvic steaming or womb steaming. It's all the same, okay? So I broke down where it comes from, many places, and what it is, right? It is simple, and that's why I love it. It is literally sitting over herbal steam, allowing the steam to touch the vaginal space, the yoni space, the entire pelvic area, and allowing that steam to serve a beneficial purpose. Very healing. So that's what it is. That's Yoni Steaming. Simple. Okay? What does it feel like? It is meant to be a very soothing, gentle practice. Okay? Imagine going into a sauna that's comforting for you. Um, just the comfort of warmth. Okay? It's not meant to be very um, intense practice. Like some people think you have to bear through the pain. You really don't. Okay? You don't. It's not supposed to be so hot that you're burning yourself or uncomfortably hot. It's supposed to be a very gentle practice. Okay, I have some people that come to me sometimes. Uh, they show up and they think they're showing up for like a really medical procedure. Uh, some people have told me, "Oh, I thought I was gonna have to wear like a, one of those blue gowns," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you showed up for that?" And this person also thought that the session would be uh, like this kind of medical procedure. And then they were really surprised by the fact that we were having like a very sacred ceremony and it was loving and gentle. But people are just so used to vaginal care equaling uncomfortable procedures that they wouldn't assume that taking care of the vagina could be gentle or loving or nice or pleasant. Okay. But it can be. That's Yoni Steaming, okay? I'm on a mission to let everybody know this practice exists because it is so simple and has made such a huge difference in people's lives and my life um, that it's just completely revolutionizing the way that we think about our yoni health. Um, it really has helped me reclaim so much power. Okay, if you know what it is like to have an issue with your vagina, okay, with your yoni. I mean, think of you. If you have had a moment in your life where you've had a vaginal health issue, what have you done? And if, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most people is, oh my gosh, I don't know. I have to go to the OB or the gynecologist so they can tell me what's up, and I have no idea. I mean, I get that. We aren't, for the most part, generalizing. A lot of us are not raised knowing things about the yoni, let alone saying that word. So we end up in a place of, ignorance in its purest form, of literally just not knowing. Um, so this tool invites you to know yourself and take care of yourself. Okay, so what can Yoni Steaming help with? Well, I'll share with you a list of things that Yoni Steaming has helped people with. Okay? That is reflecting on my face. That's okay. There we go. So again, here's a list of benefits that people have experienced. Okay, so some have used it to boost their fertility. Okay, to help them conceive, to help heal postpartum. That was actually one of the most common traditional uses for yoni steaming, is that postpartum healing. Okay, a lot of people have found or experience incredible results from fibroids, polyps, or cysts, okay, or different growths or lumps. Amazing results, okay, which is something that affects a lot of women. These three things, fibroids, polyps, cysts, are so common. It's heartbreaking, but it is, okay. So from dryness, okay, you can imagine the juiciness of the steam, just gets things all warm and moist. So people are finding relief from dryness. Sexual sensitivity, and that one's twofold because one is just the physical side of you're steaming the yoni, and then you activate it, right? You're bringing in fresh blood into that area, so it's revitalizing that area, literally waking up the cells. So in that regard, it will be more sensitive because it's more alive, yes. And also the part where, as you steam, you develop this personal relationship, or you kind of become more connected and in tune with your yoni. So hence you'll be more receptive to this space and pleasure. Which is my favorite part of steaming, really, is that deep relationship that is built with your yoni. So it has helped people clear scar tissue, BV, bacterial vaginosis, right? Yeast overgrowth, relief. Oh, another big one is for abortion and miscarriage healing, okay? As well as, what am I reading here? It's just such a long list and it goes all over the place. It's so general, which is amazing. You know, some people have painful sex for unexplained reasons. It has helped them. The one that I experienced personally is a lot, but one of the big ones was relief from menstrual cramps. So that's a really common thing that people find a lot of relief and help from, or with, or for. Yeah. So, you know I just went through a crazy, wild, random list of things. It's like, could I have covered more gynecological issues? It's all over the spectrum of womb imbalances. But that's the point, okay? Women are experiencing relief from major health issues with this simple practice, okay? So every time that a woman's womb is out of balance and they steam, not every time, but let me be better with my words here. When individuals are experiencing imbalances with their vaginal health, steaming can help them bring it back into balance, okay? Almost regardless of what it is, okay? So I want to take a moment to highlight one of the less spoken of benefits of steaming, and it's what I mentioned earlier. It's that relationship you build with your yoni. Okay, often the conversation is about all these very physical benefits, which are amazing, and I love them. I mean, like seriously, fibers can be healed by steaming. They have been, you know. But the benefit of developing a relationship with your yoni cannot be underestimated, truly. Okay, when I started steaming, it was not because I had a particular imbalance I wanted to address. It was just because I was like, wow, I neglect my yoni. Like, I never think about my yoni. So I want to do something nice for it. It's like we have all these rituals for our oral health. We brush the teeth, we scrape the tongue. We have the mouthwash, we have the floss, we have the dentist. We got the braces, we've got implants. We have all this stuff that we do for our mouths, and it's amazing. I love it. It's so helpful and needed. And yet, we neglect this major orifice of our body, the yoni. I'm sorry to call it an orifice. It's so much more than just that. But it's like, here's this major part of the body. How about this major part of the body? Like, we never take care of it unless something happens, right? Usually. So I was just excited to pay attention to this part of my body. And that's what I invite people to do. Just pay attention to this part of yourself. And you'd be amazed by the richness of your life's journey when you start paying attention to this part of yourself, because it is an incredibly important part of your being, okay? I mean, menstruating monthly. I mean, the hormone dance between the body is they're such an integral part of being an individual with a yoni, Pay attention to it. So that's my favorite part, really, just having like a designated time where I just pay attention to my unit, and build a relationship with it. Okay, it's a really wise part of our being. Uh, yeah, so I invite you to dive into that relationship. Okay, guys, let me keep on with the notes so I don't totally rant off. Staying here on my little notes. I want to get into common misconceptions because there are a lot of them. So let's deal with those. First one is that you cannot steam with an IUD. That one gets thrown out everywhere. You can steam with an IUD. Okay, simple answer. You do, however, have to be a little more careful. Okay, so for starters, you would do short steam sessions. Okay, like 10 minutes. Okay, don't do a 30-minute steam session if you have an IUD. So the concern is that you would dislodge the IUD, right? That is very theoretically possible, right? Or if you've seen an IUD, it's like a little T, right? Which, it's hard to dislodge it. And you gotta pull on the strings, usually not hard, but you'd have to pull on strings to pull it out, right? Sometimes it can become dislodged just with regular menstruation, right? So it can happen, and that's what you want to be careful about. So you wouldn't steam for too long. If you have a short steam session, people are having great experiences doing that. I would encourage that if you do steam and you have an IUD, then check your strings after you steam. Okay, just like you're encouraged to check your strings after menstruation, right, to make sure it's still there because it can come out during that time. Get in the habit of that, knowing your body, knowing yourself. So checking it with those strings, but it can be done. Okay. Some say that you cannot steam with a hysterectomy, right? Because sometimes people call this practice uterine steaming, or there's a perception out there that if you have taken out the uterus or part of the uterus, then what's the point of steaming? Okay, even individuals that have hysterectomies can still develop other yoni imbalances, right? You can still have BB, you can still have a yeast imbalance or overgrowth. So, steaming can still help in that regard. And even if there is not an imbalance, you can still tap into the part of this practice that just invites you to develop a relationship with your yoni. Okay? Yoni, there's still other parts of the physical yoni there, and then there's still the energy of the yoni forever there. Okay? So you can totally steam with the hysterectomy. There's totally benefits there. Absolutely. So this is an interesting one. So there's some articles out there in which OBs have been interviewed about yoni steaming, or gynecologists. And a lot of them are like, don't do it, it's bad. And they're called experts because, they went to school for, yoni health stuff. Well, the truth is they're not experts. They don't, there might be a few obstetricians that know about vaginal steaming, but the truth is most of them do not. It is not within their scope of practice. They don't know what it's about, okay? So they're just putting it down because they don't know anything about it, okay? Instead of saying, well, I don't know anything about it. So they might, some things I've read are that it'll alter your pH and trigger infections. Okay, most of the time people are steaming because they have an infection and it's getting cleared. So if it can help bring it into balance, why would it take it out of balance? Okay, that's just not been my experience, okay? I've been steaming for a few years and it's not been my experience. Or other people's experience at all if they actually are practicing. I see it as one of those things, back to the whole putting down indigenous and traditional and women's knowledge. Like, here's women trying to take care of themselves, and we got to tell them, no, actually, that's not how you do it. We know how to do it. You don't know how to do it. It's like, well, it hasn't been tested. It hasn't been proven. Sure. But you could do that if you really wanted to, instead of just trying to stay in a place of ignorance and just say, no, it's new and it's different and we didn't come up with it. you silly woman and you silly traditional people. That's all I hear, you know, unfortunately. Um, so another misconception is that postpartum, you have to wait until you are done bleeding to steam. Now, one, I will say disclaimer, if you're steaming postpartum, you gotta know what you're doing, okay? Or be working with someone who knows what they're doing. Be very well connected with your midwife or Yoni Steam practitioner. Because you want to know that you're monitoring your blood release after birth well, okay? It is normal to bleed after birth for a few weeks or so, or maybe just days. It depends on everyone's different. However, you can steam shortly after birth, okay? I'll just say that. More misconceptions that Yoni steaming is not necessary because the vagina is self-cleansing. Okay, I agree. The vagina is pretty self-cleansing, right? It will, if something's there, it will create discharge and push it out. Sure. And also people saying, you know, I'm not saying the vagina is dirty and needs to be cleaned. That's not my perspective either. But the truth is that, yes, it has the capacity to take care of itself and be self-healing. Absolutely, it is. But just like we have to do things to support our body's ability to function optimally, right? We have to do that. We have to drink water for our system to work, right? The colon, the GI tract is self-cleansing, you know, but sometimes we get a little backed up. And we need to do things to help that, right? So sometimes things aren't working optimally and they need more help. And even when they are optimally, we still need to do things to support their optimal functioning, right? It's like, hey, I'm hydrated now, I'm good to go. Like my cells are nice and hydrated. Okay, well, if I don't hydrate in the next 3 hours, they're not going to be as hydrated as they once before, right? I have to kind of keep up on those things. So, yes, it is self-cleansing. It is not dirty. It does not need cleaning. It just sometimes needs a little help to work optimally, a little help to do so, or it just needs a little help to keep working optimally. Okay, just maintenance. That's all. Yeah, those are two main things. People are like, well, the vagina is self-cleansing and the vagina is self-healing. And it is. Doesn't mean it doesn't need a little help sometimes, right? Obviously, if someone has fibroids and polyps or infertility or any other imbalance, things aren't working optimally. So I don't know what the hesitation is. I mean, obviously, there's procedures to help the yoni. No one seems to, well, not no one, but the obstetrical world doesn't seem to get as much backlash, although there's more of that, about their procedures and the surgeries and the antifungals and all of their, you know, hormone stuff and their way of treating things, okay? Like, obviously, there's a place for medicine and healing tactics and modalities. So I'm not sure why people can be so resistant to something that's so natural and simple, like herbal steam. So simple. There's this whole, we're used to knocking down the woman. Okay, sorry, I keep harping on that one, but it's just so true. And look where we've ended up. Women are having an incredible amount of yoni imbalances that is, again, heartbreaking. This is why I'm doing this class for free, guys, okay? This is why I'm in my living room ranting at you about what is yoni steaming, because they have put it down for so long. And we're in a place where women, individuals with the womb, have so many yoni issues. I mean, look at how many people are in the category of infertile or having fertility issues. You know, so many women are suffering day in, day out with painful yoni issues, not knowing what to do other than cut out their uterus or take painkillers or take birth control. Ah, right? That's where we're at. This is why I'm putting this out there, guys. We can reclaim our healing. We can reclaim the wellness of our yoni, okay? And our body literacy and knowing about ourselves and how to heal, okay? Truly, we can. So many are. So many are. Okay. Now, I'm going to get into some actual contraindications, okay? Actual reasons that you would not steam. So the main one is if you are actively bleeding from the yoni. If you have active red bleeding coming out of your uterus, then you don't steam. Postpartum being an exception, okay? Any other time, if you are bleeding, you would not steam, okay? So most often that means if you're menstruating, don't steam, okay? But sometimes people have bleeding issues and imbalances, disorders, and they're bleeding when it's not even their menstrual cycle time, okay? So that is also a time when you would not. So some people bleed when they ovulate, some people bleed just at a random time in between their menstrual cycles. And you just wouldn't, okay, until you're done bleeding. Brown blood, brown spotting can be okay, okay? If it's just some brown spotting, that's just older blood. So you're not actively bleeding red blood. It's just brown blood that is already released and taking its time to work out of the vaginal space, and it's brown because it's oxidized because it's old blood, right? So old residue. That can be okay to see. Another time you wouldn't steam is during pregnancy. You wouldn't steam throughout most of your pregnancy, okay? Pregnant people don't steam. Unless you're at the end of your pregnancy and ready for the baby to come out. Then you can steam. Otherwise, generally, pregnant, it's a contraindication to steam while you're pregnant, all right? And another time is if you're trying to conceive, then you would not steam after you have ovulated and had sex, right? You're trying to conceive, you have ovulated, you made the love to try to conceive, don't steam after that, okay? You can steam before, you can steam once you know, if you didn't get pregnant and if you had your bleed, then you can steam after that. But if you're trying to conceive, that is going to work against you to steam once you've ovulated and made love, okay? Okay. Well, we are near the end of what I had planned for you guys. So if you have any questions, you can post them in the little comment section and I will address it, okay? In the meantime, as far as how to set up a Yoni Steam session, I have made a blog in my website, which I will post here. I made a blog that covers 7 different ways on setting up a Yoni Steam session easily at your house, okay? Because I'm definitely on a mission to make this practice accessible, easy, and simple for people, okay? I want people to have this practice in their own hands, in their own home, okay? Right, the whole reclaim your health, reclaim your power. Like, I got this going on. I got my own tools. I got my own healing. I can take care of this. I got it, okay? So there's a blog out on that. I'll post that in the comments in a moment. And then I also have a lot of different ways for you to embrace this practice. Okay, I have the herbs available for you. I have the seats available for you. I have Yoni Steam sessions available for you. And consultations, okay? Consultations, you could dive into things a little more deeper. We would have a session where we dive into your yoni health, what's going on, what's the history, all of those things to try to develop a protocol that is best for you, okay? Like you're dealing with something, like if you're dealing with infertility or endometriosis, something long-term, right? Because one steam is not going to cut it in that regard. All right, okay. I made it to the end of what I had planned. So we got a few more moments here to post any questions you might have or anything in particular you might have wanted me to address and I hadn't or haven't or didn't I do have some little discounts for you as a thank you for being here. Like I said, this will be recorded, so I'm going to make these available for a few more days. The first discount is on the herbal steam blends, okay? 15% off all the blends, okay? No matter which one you get or which quantity you get, the discount will be 15% off all those blends, okay? And I'm gonna leave that available until November 8th. So that's about a week to tap into that, okay? The other one is the pelvic steam therapy consultations that I just described. Those are usually $120. I'm cutting that by a bunch of dollars so that you can reserve a consultation with me for $88, and I'm gonna leave that open for all of November, okay? Oh, I have to tell you the promo code. I'll post those in here, but for the herbal blend, the promo code is Yoni Vitality, okay? One word. Promo code for the consultation is Yoni Love. One word, all together, capitals. All right? And then, well, I'll let you know I am hosting a ceremony here in my home, group ceremony, Wednesday, November 20th. And it will be $44 per person. But if you see this video and you want to join here on Oahu, I will give you a discount, $33. That you're gonna have to message me personally if you want in on that, okay? So for my video viewers, you get a discount for the live ceremony here where we'll gather for about 2.5 hours. And the whole thing will be dedicated to connecting with our yoni, okay? Alrighty, guys. I am about to head out. Thank you guys for being here. Yeah, so please help me share this video once it's out there. Let people know this practice exists. That's the whole goal here, okay? Let people know this is an option for them. Like, see a lot of people wanting to take care of their yoni and you know, feeling like the conventional world is just not cutting it. But they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. You know, they just crave something else. Here it is. So let's let people know this exists. All right. Okay. Thank you guys so much.